Okay, here we're going to try to make some connections to some of the unit circle stuff you've been working on this week and actually graphing sine and cosine. We will get into tangent next week, so I just threw those data values in the table as well. So I hope that you found when you were working with the unit circle, as you go around the circle, for any point that's on the unit circle, this central angle that's created from the initial side to the terminal side, we're going to call theta. Okay, so as we're going around the circle, any point on that unit circle, actually, instead of being just x comma y, we know that the x value is equal to the cosine of theta, because if we drew a triangle down right here, we would have side adjacent is the x value over hypotenuse, which is just 1. And then for sine, it would be the side opposite, which is the y value, over the hypotenuse, which is 1, because it's a unit circle, and that's also the radius. So what's pretty cool then is on the unit circle, we can just say that this is x comma y, cosine comma sine. So as I went through the table, first I made the sine values, then the cosine values, and then tangent, because the other thing we find if we have this triangle here, that side opposite over adjacent, so side y value over x value, which is sine over cosine, gives me tangent. Pretty cool stuff. So we're just going to focus on what are called the quadrantal angles. So we're going to start with 0, then 90, 180, 270, up to 360 again. So we're just going to go around the circle and look at those values. For sine, they're all the y values. So I'm going to start with 0. Then at 90 degrees, I'm at 1. 180, I'm back to 0 for y values. For 270 degrees around the circle, I'm at -1, and then back to 360, I'm at 0. So you can see those values here in green. Then we're going to go back around the circle again and look at the x values so we can find cosine. So we've got 1, and then 0, -1, 0, back to 1 again. And then I, again, just completed the table based off of tangent being y over x. So 0 divided by 1 is 0. 1 divided by 0, undefined. So that's going to be interesting when we get there next week. 0 divided by -1 is 0. -1 divided by 0, again, undefined. So anyways, tangent's going to be a little bit more interesting. Sine and cosine are going to be pretty darn similar. They have this wave. Some of you have probably seen it by looking at some of the assignments already. Tangent, again, is a little bit different, but what I want to focus on with each of the trig functions, I like to call them the 5 key points. Okay, so we're going to look at 5 key points of each function and try to kind of remember that about each particular one. So before we go on, remember 0 degrees is the same as 0 radians. Remember 360 is equal to 2 pi radians. So 180 then is just pi radians. Okay, half of that then is pi over 2 radians, and then halfway between pi and 2 pi is 3 pi over 2. 270. Okay, so I marked that on this first table right here, but the rest of the table, we're going to get to 2 pi, and then we're going to just cycle back through the values. So really, this right here up to this point in the table is one time around the full circle, and then when we continue, it's kind of like just continuing to go around. That's why we need to know a little bit about coterminal angles. Okay, there's some cool videos that I'll post from YouTube too that kind of show the unwinding of the unit circle and how the sine wave is graphed. So those are kind of interesting if you're more a visual person. All right, so let's take a look at this part 2 that I'm calling periodic functions. We're going to start with sine. So I'm just going to copy those values that we made from the table, 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. Okay, so what I've graphed here is a very rough sketch. It's kind of tough to graph, but I know that you can take a look at this in Desmos if you like. So I graph the point 0, 0. Next point I'm going to graph is pi over 2, 1. Next point I'm going to graph is pi, comma 0. Then 3 pi over 2, -1, back to 2 pi, 0. Okay, it's kind of hard to see some of those points because I wrote over the top of them, but we should get something that looks kind of like this. Okay, and then those values actually repeat. So if the pattern continues, which it does, my next point's going to be at 1, back to 0, -1, 0 again. Okay, so this distance right here that's in red, that's called the period. So one cycle, this part that's highlighted in red is the cycle that repeats over and over and over. You can kind of see we could redo that wave over and over again. It's just taking that chunk and repeating it, and then we actually are going to repeat it this way as well. So one cycle here is 2 pi. Okay, so the period is from 0 out to 2 pi. So that length we're going to call the period, and that's 2 pi. Pretty cool. Okay, another key thing you want to look at when you're graphing here is what's called the height. So right now this x-axis is kind of serving as a midline. Okay, you can kind of see it separates those curves in half. The distance from the x-axis, that midline up to the maximum, that value is called the amplitude. And in this case, it's just a 1. Okay, we'll talk more about that later. So pretty cool stuff going on here though. So we've got some repeating. That's why this is called a periodic function. It repeats itself. Pretty cool. Okay, 5 key points of sine then. We start at wherever we are at the beginning of sine. That's 0. Okay, then we go to from 0 to the max, back to 0, min, and then 0. Okay, 0 max, 0 min, 0. 5 key points of sine. Then that cycle repeats itself. So if we ever have points where they're going to shift right or left, we're always going to come back to, okay, where's the first 0? Max, 0, min, 0. Okay, 5 key points of sine. Next, we're going to look at cosine. So those same values that were on our table before, 0, 1, pi over 2, 0, pi, negative 1, 3 pi over 2, 0, 2 pi is back to 1. So those points are graphed right here. We start at 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. Okay? And actually, I think this one, the scale is actually a little bit different. So I think my points are a little bit off. Okay, so we're going to fix this one. My other one might have actually been like this too, but the iPad that I write on is so stinking tiny as far as, okay, pi over 2 is where we're at 0, then pi is where we're at negative 1. There we go, this looks better. Yeah, but the iPad that I'm using, I can't see this scale at all, so just disregard that the other one might be a little bit off and just treat that pi like it's a pi over 2. But there we go. Now we're getting the cosine wave going here. Okay, and then when I make it, and this might be good for you to see me make it, I'm just going to backtrack and then back up. So I think I was just making a few more curves in between than I needed to. And I'm going to pause for good measure because I had a good wave going on there. I don't want to mess it up. This one's actually easier to make my curve on. My other one, I have a little stylus, and it was kind of tough. Okay, so 5 key points of cosine. If you can see, this part we started at 0 is the max. Then we go to the 0. Then we go to the min, and then the 0, back to the max. 5 key points of cosine. So it starts at 0. And then the length of this period again, where it repeats itself one full time, is 2 pi. And that should make sense because how many, if you want to think of it as angle measures, are in a full circle? It's 2 pi or 360, right? So it should kind of make sense that if you're just using the basic sine or cosine wave, that should be the same cycle, right? From 0 to 2 pi is one time around the circle. Okay, so pretty cool. Period here is 2 pi. So that's the part that, again, if I just took that whole thing and I shifted it to the right, we'd see this part again. If I took this whole thing, shifted it to the left, we'd see this again. So it's that repeating pattern of going all the way around the circle. Pretty cool. Again, I think you should watch those YouTube videos that I'm going to post as well. It's kind of cool to see. Okay, translations. So we've worked with translations before. HK, that sort of thing. I'm not going to go through these. If you want to print off these notes and try some of 3 and 4 on your own, the other video I'm going to make is going to go a lot more through translations, so you can do that look at that video if you want, or print this off and go through some examples on your own. It's totally up to you. Okay, but we're going to look at different parts. So A is the value in front of sine, and then it's hard to see because I wrote over the top of this, sorry, but it's A times sine of bx in parentheses, so there's parentheses right here, plus C, and then plus D is on the outside. So A is what we call the amplitude. It's just like what we work with in translations of other functions. It's kind of like the height, the stretch factor in a way. So that's if it stretches. Okay. Let's see, I don't know if it paused, but that was kind of crazy. My computer had the spinning wheel of death, so sorry about that if you had some blank time in there. But A is the amplitude, the height overall of the wave from the midline to the max, or from the midline to the min. Okay, B helps us determine the period, which is the length of the repeated part. Normally for sine and cosine, you saw that that length is 2 pi. If we have a value in front of x, then that changes it. So we have to take 2 pi and divide by b, and that's going to help us know kind of that part, okay? Horizontal phase shift is this C. You could also call it H if that's what you like better. And then again, it's opposite. So that's your right-left shift. So if it's minus a value, we're going to go to the right. And then outside is that vertical shift, and it's the same. We're going to go up or down. Okay, so we're going to practice those a little bit. Here's another note page. Some of you might like this a little bit, but this right here is the period, and I don't think I put that down, but this is the period. So the period's going to go right here. I'm not going to try to write that because that's going to be ugly. Amplitude, again, it's the distance. I like to think of it as the height of the midline to the minimum, or the midline to the maximum, okay, and that distance is the amplitude. You can also think of it as half the distance between the max to the min value. If you kind of figure out what that distance overall, count it down, and then divide it in half. That works too. But I kind of like to think of it as the distance from the midline to the min, or the midline to the max. Okay, so sine and cosine, here's your parent functions graphed. Amplitude for each is 1, period is 2 pi. So amplitude and period. So amplitude is that A value. Again, we kind of think of it as your stretch factor. That's your A. Okay, and then the period is going to be determined by this B value that's in front of theta or x. It kind of depends on what variable we use, but that theta is interchangeable with x. Okay, so the period for sine and cosine is normally 2 pi. So again, we're going to take that 2 pi value, we're going to divide it by b. And my second video is all about this. Okay, so if you're feeling like you need more practice, you can try out some more examples here, or jump to that video as well. Okay, so just starting out here, value out in front, that's my amplitude. That would be the height of the waves. Okay, then I'm going to take 2 pi over 2. My period length then should be pi. Same with this second one. Okay, but I really want to move into some of the examples here. All of my graphs in green are the sine graphs, so we kind of have to put a lot together here. So let's go through number 3. Amplitude is 4, so that distance from the midline to the min and to the max should be 4. Period is 2 pi. Okay, so with sine, I go 0 max, 0 min, 0. So what I like to do is I kind of like to mark out, here's my starting value. I don't have any right or left shifts right now. My ending value is 2 pi. I know for sine, those I start and end at 0. Then my halfway point is also a 0. Okay, and then I like to call these my quarter points. My first quarter point is the max. My second quarter point is the min. The reason I call them quarter points is because they're a quarter of the way through. Okay, so we've got 5.0 max, 0 min, 0. Okay, these ones with thirds are a little bit tricky, but I don't think you're going to have to worry about that too much. But when you're graphing these for future reference, I just take this value right here as pi and I divide it in thirds. So 1 1/3 tick mark is pi over 3, and then another 1 1/3, so 2 2/3 over is 2 thirds pi, and then we get to pi. Okay, So take a look at this. Let me know what questions you have. Watch the second video. Check out the Desmos activities. You got this.